Hello, everybody. Welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and I decided to jump back on and to talk about the energies because we are in the midst of this very powerful Aries full supermoon. And so we are kind of entering into the eclipse season, and I do realize I've kind of been on a hiatus for the last month or so. And so I think the last time I jumped on and I channeled the energies for the collective was the week of the Lionsgate portal. And so that Lionsgate portal kind of came in and it was very heavy. It was very dark. And I've been going through some changes, some upgrades, some changes in my personal life, for my spiritual journey with my gifts, and even upgrades and changes all around the house. And so I'm coming back out of the hole that I kind of was in. And so it was almost like a dark night of the soul energy that I've kind of been sifting through. And I know for my own personal journey, that was due to the Venus retrograde in Leo. And so as we're kind of coming out of the post shadow period, I finally have the drive to get back to work. And so during my little hiatus, I've been focused on putting together some master classes that I will start to offer again coming up right shortly. So keep an eye on that. I've just been working on advancing reading, getting the whole channel kind of recalibrated, and also facing a lot of personal challenges. And so I do feel the twin flame connections are coming back online very strongly. For myself, I felt very disconnected from the twins higher self, the twins guidance. And I do feel because there was something being realigned in the masculine's world, something being broken apart in order to restructure for making room for these spiritual reunion, so we can reestablish this closeness that we share within the bond. And so I've been doing a lot of going within, keeping to myself, and just connecting with other divine feminines during that time period when it comes to collaborative work moving forward as well. And so I do feel like everything's kind of coming back into alignment. I've received all kinds of insights onto which steps I kind of need to take for my own journey. And I do know the energy has been very confusing, and many have been facing all kinds of karmic challenges recently. And so when we go through these challenging times, these confusing times, it is like an activation point. And so what I have felt over the last couple of weeks is a similar energy or vibration to the Mars-Venus conjunction a couple of years ago in 2021. And so I know there's a lot of remembrance of the love that we share with the counterpart. I do feel a lot of the masculines are being reminded, almost haunted, of the fact that you are the one for them, no matter what has transpired. And so it's like a reactivation of this union energy in 2021, bringing forward all kinds of karmic experiences, echoing back into the connection in order for us to kind of undo all of these lower past choices within relationships. And so it's really not as straightforward or simple as it kind of sounds, right? And so we're kind of in a period with this Aries full moon. It's at exactly 6 degrees, which would represent the lovers. I think of all of the sixes in the tarot would be the lovers in the major arcana, which is a choice, right? And we can choose to stay in these lower past choices and continue to compete, I suppose, in competition, or we can choose to repeat these karmic lessons over and over again, or we can choose the higher divine union. The Six of Swords is choosing to leave all of the manipulation behind and to move to calmer waters. The Six of Wands is victory after a period of sorrow. The Six of Pentacles representing the Libra energy, right? And so we have the sun in Libra, opposite the moon in Aries. And so the South Node is in Libra, which is all about reevaluating these lower past choices. Where has there been an imbalance? The Six of Pentacles is saying somebody has been giving more than they've been receiving. And so it's kind of time to reach that place of equanimity and equality within relationships. We've got the Six of Cups, which is bringing up all kinds of nostalgia and memories of the past when it comes to our past choices. And so it's really not that simple to undo the lower past choices and to return to the true soul path. And so there's a lot of resistance going on in the energies, and what we resist will persist. And so I do feel like the counterpart, the one that has been involved in the outsider attachment, has really gone way off track and left behind the truth of their soul in this spiritual union. And so I do know I've received lots of confirmation. My inbox has been overflowing with messages of a lot of the Divine Masculine Collective being rattled to the rock bottom Genesis point in order to kind of get them back to that state of truth. And so I know dreams have been very vivid. The increased signs and synchronicities are almost like supernatural reminders at this time as we go through this timeline shift. The signs and the syncs are there to prove to us that this connection is truly meant to be. And so when the signs and the syncs are there, it is to lead the twins back together into a state of harmony. And so I do feel this Aries full moon is bringing forward a lot of triggers, ego triggers. And so the triggers is going to bring forward all of this resistance. And what we resist is going to persist. And so the ego, the masculines operating out of the ego, they're holding on to this fear of change, this fear of letting go of old ways, because who am I if I let go of this? And so to go through this processing, it's like a piece of you kind of has to die away. And so I know for myself, the last month and a half has been like this death energy, this ego death energy. And I do feel due to the fact that the counterpart is still holding on to the conflict timeline, the fear timeline, the separation, fear of the connection. And so there's been a lot of releasing. And so for myself over the last several weeks, I've been very much spiritually disconnected, trying to find my way back. I've been very rooted in the 3D world, doing 3D things, building up my own foundation, and like I said, restructuring the business. And so I feel this full moon in Aries, all of these emotions that have been repressed and building in this pressure cooker cosmic soup are likely going to be unleashed with this strong opposition with this full moon, this super full moon. And it is going to be affecting these twin flame spiritual connections. And so a lot of the feminines have kind of been in this energy of feeling lost, with no direction, which way to go. I know it's brought forward a lot of feelings of just wanting to give up on the journey, on the path, and to recalibrate. And so if you've been feeling disconnected like I was, it can trigger almost like an abandonment wound again, even feeling like abandoned by your spirit team, your guides, and especially the abandonment wound with the twin, even the twin's higher self. And so I do feel there's a lot of contrast, right? Because we all want to strive for our hopes and our dreams. And there's a lot that's kind of transpired with this Venus retrograde and the Mercury retrograde, which are both, they're both going forward motion, but we're still in the shadowy energy. We still have Pluto retrograde. We have Mars opposite, or Mars is going to be square Pluto in about a week. Mars is going to be opposing the North Node. And so I do feel this energy of separation consciousness is kind of looming over the collective. And it is this energy of, you feel like this doomsday building, this looming large tower is like in the near distant future, right? And so this full moon, I do feel, is triggering a lot of sadness and fear to kind of come to the surface for releasing. Aries is ruled by Mars. It's tower energy. It's brute force. Mars is the lower octave of Pluto. And so there's going to be a lot of anger, irritation, frustration, and the blaming game. And so we can't keep blaming everybody else for our sadness, our fears, for where we are at in our lives, because ultimately we create what we are, putting up with or not putting up with. And so this full moon, I feel, is activating a lot of Aries energy. There's not a lot of major planets or important points activating this full moon, but I do feel like Aries is the energy of self. Libra is the energy of we, right? Aries is me, Libra is we. And so we're kind of being pushed into our individuality, Aries, right? And so for me, it is affecting my second house is in Aries. My third house is in Aries. Second house is self-worth, self-value, finances. Third house is communication. My Mercury is also in Aries. And so we're here to embrace our individuality, to integrate the polarity of others along with self, and to find that equanimity. And so I do feel many of the divine masculines are needing to come to grips with their current situation, are needing to kind of look into that divine mirror of where they've sacrificed a love for the karmic connection, where they kind of gave up on themselves, gave up on honoring their uniqueness. And I do feel a lot of anger is going to be surfacing with these newfound revelations of where many have been led astray from their truth. And so anger, blame, and I've noticed there's been a lot of irritation, and I've been easily triggered this week leading up to this. It is like this underlying impatience of this rage about to boil to the surface and to come to the surface. And so I do feel a lot of anger of being mad at ourselves too. I know we go through these stages of grief on the journey, and one of them is anger, and we get mad at ourselves for letting things slip, for not seeing the red flags, and for giving up on ourselves. And so in this energy, this very dark energy, we can be so tempted to point the finger and to blame other people for all of our problems. And this is how we fall for temptation, right? And it will only bring more problems if we go down that road, if we continue to go down that route spiritually. And so we need to recognize, where is this deep blame and anger coming from? Because ultimately, when we project onto others, it is really a reflection of what is causing a blockage within due to all of these lower cycles that we continue to engage in. And so when we attract a negative outer mirror, that is the false twin flame contract. And it does come into our path to make us deal with anger, to find new constructive ways to take action to move forward. Aries is also the sign of courage, action, and strength, and enthusiasm. And so there's a certain duality that we're working with collectively, and it is the issue of self versus other. And so this is going to be a very challenging balancing act. And this is to prepare us for the new moon solar eclipse in Libra in 2 weeks' time. And so there's this pressure building. And so I do feel, get prepared for some conflicts when it comes to the polarity of Aries and Libra over the weekend, in order to break us free from all of these illusions. And so we are a part of a greater whole. I also feel another big message coming through in the energies is ultimately we have to align to our own truth. If we're not aligned in our highest truth, if we're not embodying our truth and living in our truth, then nothing really is going to work out in our lives, right? Because when we sacrifice our truth, it doesn't help us, and it doesn't help anybody else either. And so who are you really? So I do feel many of us are being pushed to release all of these lower cycles of victimhood, victim mentality, shame, guilt, blame, and any kind of like symptoms of separation consciousness. And so it might serve many of us well to journal this weekend, journal about what needs to be cleared, how we can move forward, especially with the twin flame connections. I feel a lot of the feminines are finally reaching that state of balance within our authenticity, our soul's authenticity, knowing, like the deep knowing that everything is kind of interconnected. And so in order to open up to the energy of joy, love, and harmony, we do have to reconnect to that aspect of our inner light. And I know it's been very heavy since the new moon in Virgo, which would be the hermit, of going inside to find that reconnection of our own inner light. I know many have been feeling like betrayed lately. I know there's been a lot of exposure and betrayal and people feeling very hurt in the energies, or even feeling like they've been tricked. And so forgiveness is going to be huge as well to work through all of these very triggering emotions. So let's jump in with the cards. I've been visiting with a lot of Divine Feminines. I'm going to use a new tarot deck today. I was gifted the Everyday Witch Tarot from my good friend Lux Maven. Thank you, Lux, if you're watching. So beautiful deck. I love the imagery. I love the energy. We're going to use that deck today. I was gifted this deck from another Divine Feminine, Notes from the Universe on Love and Connection. So I think we'll use that deck as well, but I think this is the deck we're going to use for probably a closing message. But I think we're going to start off with the Spiritual Journey Oracle deck today, and we're going to see what needs to come through. Rediscovery, paradigm shift. And so full moons come to illuminate what's no longer working. And so we are in the precipice of like this new earth timeline split, where those that are ready to kind of let go of all of these outdated, ineffective beliefs are ready for this new discovery. And so that's the energy of piercing the veil being lifted, and really seeing a person or a situation at face value. And so that is likely going to lead to a lot of breakdowns in these karmic relationship cycles. And so these eclipse energies that we're getting ready for is really to kind of eclipse all of these lower cycles out of the way for these unions. So anybody that's kind of still clinging to that scorpionic south node energy of not being able to release, there's going to be a tower coming up here with these eclipses. Look at that, the signs and the things. And so I know I was speaking to a masculine this week, several times this week, and the universal communication through the numbers, the signs, the things has been almost like supernatural and surreal. And so there is a need to really pay attention to those signs, the deeper meaning that they hold for your own personal twin flame journey. And that's like the energy of like, I do feel a lot of the masculines are hitting like a rock bottom for the lack of meaning in their lives, and there's like nowhere to run. The feminine's energy, I feel, is all around the masculine at this time, because divine timing says the time is now. All of this is happening because spirit is saying it's time for this reconnection. I do feel a lot of heightened awareness, a lot of third eye activations as the masculine journeys towards his higher self. As the feminine reaches a state of alignment and integration with her healing gifts, it does bring all of these triggering cycles to the surface when it comes to these patterns, these challenges, and these obstructions towards this new life that we are here to build. And so there's the throat activation. And so a lot of the blocks do come from a lack of open and honest expression and communication. And so I do feel a lot of throat chakra activations in order to open up to honesty. And so a lot of the feminines are very gifted healers, and we heal others through our words, our touch, our actions. And I do feel that's where I know I was at the last little while during these changes. I was exploring more healing work. I was digging into Vedic astrology, sidereal astrology, draconian, reading my draconian chart, just all kinds of advancement, right? Because with astrology, it's never ending. You can learn and learn and learn and learn forever. And so I do feel we are on the precipice of a brand new cycle, a brand new life. But we do have to kind of address these negative, repetitive patterns once and for all. What we bring to the table with our patterns, what others bring to the table, and what needs to be course corrected in order to remove all of these blockages. And so I do feel challenges and roadblocks are around the corner, and this kind of need to retreat. So let's jump in with the shadow and light deck, and we're going to see what triggers we can expect to maybe be coming through to be dealt with this full moon. We get guilt, disappointment on the bottom of the deck, and lonely. So we're going to give it another shovel. So shuffle. Okay. Shovel. So I do feel this energy though of a lot of the masculines are kind of digging themselves out of the hole that they've kind of been in with the proverbial spiritual shovel. And so a lot of the masculines have stayed stuck in that lower cycle due to a level of guilt and shame, and they've not been willing to do what's best for them and taking their life by the balls, or the bull by the horns, so to speak. And so the disappointment and the loneliness that they've been kind of sitting in is a lack of them not grasping onto the infinite wisdom that they hold. And there is a lack of the oneness that we experience as part of this ascension. And then there's the envy. And so I do feel a lot of the masculines are looking at the feminine and they're very envious of what she's built, where she's come from and how she's rebuilt her life. And so I do feel a lot of the masculines are facing the rejection energy, right? And a lot of them chose vanity. They chose money over love. And this has really led to a state of deep, dark depression. And so I do feel a reflection of the rejection. And so in order for us to welcome abundance in our lives, we do have to complete these cycles. And so there is a cycle incomplete, a lesson that is needing to be learned. And so there's like this beauty in the breakdown process, right? There really is a beauty in the breakdown process. And so I do feel a lot of the masculines have recently faced a rejection or an ending. And they're deep within some guilt, disappointment, and they're feeling very lonely at this time. Let's do a couple of the love oracle messages, and then we're going to jump in with the tarot. Feels good to be back, guys. So drop me a comment down below and let me know what you guys have been up to over the last little while. Okay, Dragonfly and Healing Heart. And so there are things coming to light. There are things coming to light that we are going to have to deal with. We're going to have to adapt to these changes in this healing journey. And I do feel this is where a lot of the collective is at. There's been some recent endings, some freedom from these toxic relationships, riddled with addiction, trauma bonds. And so freedom from the toxicity and healing from the heartbreak. But things are coming to light. Without a doubt, when it comes to the toxic cycles and what needs to leave in order for this healing and abundance to come in. And so we get the nut today. And so this is where a lot of the masculines stay at for a long time. They avoid that conversation. They avoid having to deal with the hurt. They avoid having that conversation. They avoid making that phone call, having that face-to-face. I do feel there's a lot of anger coming to the surface. And then we get the love call, the chaser, and abundance. Bottom of the deck, guys, we get the coffee cup. And with the sunglasses. I do feel the masculines, the Aries energy is saying it's time to take action. They've avoided dealing with this hurt, having this conversation. They've avoided dealing with all of the emotions of the separation, the anger, the guilt, and all of that, and it's boiling to the surface. I do feel the masculine is thinking of you, is thinking about expressing their love, sending a message, making a phone call. It's like now all of a sudden they're coming in chasing you. And so I do feel the codependency issues that a lot of the masculines are needing to face is these fear of abandonment. And so as the feminine kind of manifests exactly what it is that she wants through this positive mindset with gratitude and bliss, I do feel get ready for the masculine to be reaching out, maybe wanting to get together for a coffee date or a dinner date, because I do feel the masculine's been watching you, stalking you, looking in, like lurking in the background, all while playing into the self-indulgence and the addictions, right? And so as the feminine rises, it does shine a light on the divine masculine needing to work on self-worth issues and to heal and to do all of that shadow work. And so there is going to be an outburst, a sudden change, an epiphany, some type of upheaval, a surprise upheaval, surprise shocking news, stabbed in the back type energy, as part of this transformation in order for the masculine to open up his heart for this reunion with the divine feminine, because the feminine is the one. The masculine's been playing into all of these self-sabotaging behaviors, and they're going to have to rebuild from ground zero. They've been in this repetitive, persistent, karmic cycle of nostalgia, reminiscing, without really learning from the past. So there is a need for the masculine to resist being seduced or hooking up with that third party interference, because I do feel the temptation is coming in at full force with that karmic relationship, with all of these fleeting triggers. And so there's going to be a lot of turmoil this weekend in order for the masculine to learn this lesson and to let go of all of the resentment, so he can open up to fully loving you in his authentic essence. And so it's like the hand of cards, right? The masculine is being asked to take a chance, to take a risk. And I don't think he's showing anybody his hands. He's like the poker face. So let's jump in with the tarot, and we will see what else needs to come through. Page of Cups on the bottom of the deck, Six of Cups on the bottom of the deck, and Eight of Cups. And there's the lurking and the spying with the Page of Swords. And so in order for this clean slate and this new beginning and this reunion, something does need to be walked away from, right? Something does need to be walked away from. And so on this side of cups, we get the Five of Cups, right, on the table. I can figure out how to do this. The Five of Cups on the table. We get the Two of Cups here, and then an Ace of Cups. And so the Five of Cups is, you know, maybe for the last 5 years, the masculine's been stuck, grieving, you know, pushing down, stuffing down the guilt in a connection where I do feel like the spark is gone, the flame is gone, and needing to choose self-love, right? All while watching you, you know, resisting, moving on, because, you know, maybe they've been spying on you, getting their hit, getting their fix. But I do feel there's been a major lesson learned, and a truth is being revealed in the energies for a new beginning. So let's see what the Everyday Witch Tarot has to say. I do feel at one point in time, the masculine thought they had a lot of options, and I feel the options are running out. So let's dig in and see where the masculine collective is at with the energies this weekend. The Four of Cups reversed, first card out. I'm liking that. Okay. Wow. This is looking really good. The Four of Cups reversed. The Seven of Cups reversed. And we got the King of Cups kind of come out sideways. And so I do feel the masculines are all up in their feelings. I do feel they can kind of see clearly. If you see, he's got like the telescope. Maybe a lot of the masculines too have been like stargazing or looking up at the sky, maybe even looking into studying some astrology of their own. But I feel, you know, they thought they had a lot of options. There's no more options here. The options are running out. And then we get the Four of Cups reversed. So we kind of got like a Three of Cups in reversed here playing out. And we do see the Three of Cups reversed here. I'm going to show it to you upright on the table. There's the hammers. And so a lot of the masculines have been stuck, right? Maybe for the last 3 years. sitting in this energy of guilt and regret, stuck, right? In a period of soul suppression, depression, and in like 3 years of self-sabotaging behaviors, right? And not recognizing like, hey, that cup of love is kind of still on the table, and the feminine's like, are you gonna take it? I'm gonna take the cup because I'm ready to kind of give up on you. And so I do feel like the release of the depression, coming out of stagnation, coming out of a period of disillusionment, loneliness due to disillusionment. And I feel like they're kind of like feeling like all alone. I do feel they're feeling all alone. And so this King of Cups, you know, he's on an island all by himself, and no man is an island, right? And so I do feel he's laser focused. He knows where he needs to go for that new beginning. And he's hoping that maybe you would still be willing to invest, right? Are you still willing to invest? Because I do feel the masculines do want victory, and they do want to bring forward an apology, but they still have to let down the guards on their heart. And so I also feel the masculine sees the feminine has built a solid foundation. She's grounded. She's stable. You know, likely a business owner. She doesn't want for nothing. Maybe has quite a few cats. I know I do. But I just feel like the feminine is just in a place of grounded peacefulness. You know you've built something solid for your life. So I feel that's how the masculine sees you. He knows that there's an opportunity for a blank slate, a clean slate, a blank canvas, but it does require open-hearted communication. So let's see what needs to come through for the feminine for these energies. And 7 of Wands just flipped out for you. So I kind of feel like you're definitely reminiscing about the third-party interference as well, is what I'm feeling. Then we get the 3 balloons. And so for the last 3 years, the feminine's been on this ascension roller coaster is how I would see that. Reminiscing, going through the energy of nostalgia. I do feel you kind of are on defense, right? Because, you know, this is a connection where the third-party interference come in and it took you down to rock bottom. And is there still something we're salvaging on the table, right? The 5 of Cups and the 6 of Cups. So we kind of got an Ace of Cups here, an opportunity for an Ace of Cups. But I also feel you are needing to protect your energy right now as all of this karma kind of plays out. We get the Judgment. And so I like this Judgment card. If you see, she's vibrating at her highest frequency. Her soul song is being sent out into the universe, right? And this is also the energy of reconciliation. And so you've called in a reconciliation. But there is also something that you need to leave behind as well. What do you need to leave behind that maybe you've lost some sleep over? There is an outsider attachment here involved with the feminine as well that needs to be walked away from in order for these divine unions to be made manifest. Okay, messages for the twins. Okay, 6 of Pentacles in reversed. I'll show you the card in just a minute, guys. Added messages for the twins. So we get the 6 of Pentacles in reversed, which we talked about. We get the 8 of Pentacles. So we have a 2 of Pentacles in reversed playing out, and the Ace of Cups in reversed. And so it's kind of time to throw caution to the wind, is how I feel. It's time to throw caution to the wind. It's time to address these imbalances and do the hard work, right? Because this does require self-love. I do feel we cannot keep putting the work into relationships where the love is lost, right? When trust is gone, when love is gone, and we cling for fear of being alone, we can't really focus on what it is we really need to invest in. And so somebody here has spent a lot of time on a loveless situation, and it is time to throw caution to the wind, right? It's time to learn this lesson. It's time to be carried away with the energies and to take those action steps to building a solid foundation for the future. The Knight of Pentacles kind of gives me like the Robin Hood vibe, right? And so, you know, it is the energy of like taken from the rich and given to the poor. And that is what we are here to do. The Knight of Pentacles is, well, not taking from the rich, but balancing this out, right? The Knight of Pentacles is Virgo energy. It is the energy of service. And that is what we are here to do, is to be of service, right? And so I do feel this full moon is bring forward a state of emotional catharsis. If you see on this card, we get the panther, right? You see the panther there as a reflection in the water from the moon. We got a black cat turning into a panther. And the panther energy for me is always a state of catharsis to get everybody unstuck from these outdated beliefs. The Eight of Swords is stuck in an old mindset. Somebody here is all tied up in a situation, bound to something that is no longer working. And deep down inside, there's a knowing of this, right? And the fear, I think, is to going into the depths of the heartbreak. But that is the only way that this burden can fully be released and things can progress forward, is by embracing this state of emotional catharsis and emotional release. And so get ready for the divine mirror to reflect back to you. Are you in a lower cycle or in a higher cycle? Because the decision is ours for the taking, right? And I do feel the masculine is being encouraged to bring forward that offer. And he's not holding a pentacle, but he's ready to build. And so we do have a true pair, maybe a Taurus. Your masculine could be a Taurus, doesn't have to be. But I feel a major reality check is coming forward, a shift in perception, Pisces, as to what wish fulfillment is for you. Cancer, could be a Cancer. So in order to have it all, we do have to release the pains of the past first. And so I think the masculine thought he could stuff this heartbreak down and rewrite history, but he's not in control. The universe is rewriting destiny right now. So get ready for some profound transformation. This death card is saying, hey, that cord is ready to break. It's time to step into your truth. It's time to sever everything that isn't working in your life. Whoever's wearing a mask, whoever's creating drama and conflict, it's time to cut that cord. And if you're not willing to do it, the tower will crumble. Get ready for an unexpected upheaval in order for some exposure with some addictions, cheating, lying. The devil wants to keep the twins apart, right? The devil wants to keep the twins separated. But I do feel blocks are being removed. So let's get one last message from the universe. Advice card message from the universe for how we can maybe work through some of these energies this weekend. You will be surprised. I think get ready to expect the unexpected this weekend. You will be surprised. When we ask the universe, right? When we pray and we ask for things from the universe, and we ask from a place of like sincerity, a place of love, I think you'd be surprised at what the universe brings forward, right? I do feel if love is what you've asked for, love is on the table. And so I do feel you're going to be surprised. No two flowers are the same, yet all are beautiful in their own way. And so when we get into the energy of comparison too, that's when we go into the energy of jealousy and envy. And so don't presume that everything is fine and dandy in another's life, because nobody really knows what goes on behind closed doors. And social media is fake, right? Fake book. And so there is something going on universally between the twins trying to create a level of equality. And then we get see me in their eyes, and that's the mirror reflection, right? And so there is something conferring. I do feel a face-to-face is coming. A face-to-face is coming. Somebody is definitely departing out of the masculine's life in order for the highest energy within them to speak directly to them, because we are here to make a difference, right? We are here to make a difference. We are here to be true to ourselves. And so there's a lot going on that many of us really can't figure out at the moment. We might not really understand. And a lot of what is going on really isn't ours to attach to. And so if we can harness love in spite of it all, if we can harness that, we need to remember love is never in vain. And so we love people sometimes for a season, a reason, for a lesson. But ultimately, it does all boil down to love, right? And so if you need to cry it out, cry it out. Allow that negative space and energy to leave. Because there's like this Odyssey energy kind of beginning for the twin flames. But first, the masculine has to take a leap of faith. We do have to leave the past behind, and we have to get back up from the rock bottom. And we have to go after what it is that we dare to go after, what we desire, in spite of everything that has happened, right? Because love truly is the answer. Love really is the answer here. And so if you can go within your heart this weekend, despite all of the battles, because it really is a spiritual battle of the heart over the mind. It's not the mind over the heart now, it's the heart over the mind. And so I feel the masculine is trying to catch up with his heart, to align the head and the heart in these energies in order to remember just how deep this love is. And so that's kind of what I've got, guys, for the Aries full moon update. Looking forward to getting back into the swing of things. So yeah, I'm hoping to be back on Monday with the forecast. I have still been very busy booking clients. So if you would like to book in for a personal reading, a twin flame reading, or a tarot reading, do feel free to check out that description box below, guys. I would love to get that booked in for you. And if not, I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.